G'day. If you're new here, I am predominantly a Skyrim Twitch streamer who focuses on challenge runs. This glass cannon build is basically my go-to whenever I'm doing a run that allows it. Since it requires almost no effort, like blacksmithing, enchanting, alchemy, it can be done right at the start of every playthrough as well. You know, for my permadeath friends, and it hits like a truck full of explosives in a 90s action film. It's crazy. This is a stealth-focused build, and we'll see you hitting enemies for 60 times damage on all of your attacks. And like I said, does not require any blacksmithing, any enchanting or alchemy, and depending on how speedy you are, can be set up in as little as half an hour. Now, when I say no blacksmithing, enchanting, or alchemy, I legit mean it. You don't have to craft anything, you don't have to... Hell, I mean, like, if you want to min-max it, I mean, obviously you want to upgrade your armor, and, you know, your weapons and stuff like that. It's not really necessary, though. Though, obviously, enchanting, if min-maxing, like, for the most part, most of your gear can be replaced later, but you don't need to do it in order to get the build going. And also, you don't need to make any potions, you don't need to use any potions. It's simple and clean, boys. It's clean. So, your race of choice is going to be Orc, okay? They're usually the best race because of how incredibly powerful their racial is. But that specifically is what makes this build so strong. For 60 seconds, you deal double damage and only take half damage. It's insane, right? As opposed to Khajiits, who can, you know, see in the dark a little bit easier, which is cool. I guess. I always go with Ralof for the start of this build, specifically. Activate your Orc racial, and then kill the Imperial Captain straight away. Focus her down, beat the shit out of her, kill her, and then loot her straight away for the key, or else Ralof will pick it up, and we do not want that, okay? Here's a fun little fact about Skyrim, by the way, that I've learned that a lot of people don't know. Your weapon attack speed is actually determined by the weapon in your left hand. So, if you have an iron dagger in your left hand, and just say an iron mace in your right hand, and you do like the dual-wielding power attack, it will actually attack at the same speed as using two iron daggers. So anyway, attack Ralof until you get one-handed to level 25. So you can level up and put that perk into stealth. Equip double iron dagger since Ralof can't be aggroed in Helgen Keep, and then just stab the heck out of him until you have level 100 stealth. Max out the stealth perk tree, then focus on one-handed damage, attack speed, and power attack cost reduction. You'd expect a stealth build to be really slow, right? But like, the final perk of stealth mixed with like the quick attack speed of daggers and the tremendous damage you're going to be outputting, it allows you to just walk directly up to enemies, spit in their face, crouch down, and just slap them for massive damage. It's insane. You need to be careful about power attacks specifically, because besides hitting really hard, enemies tend to like walk forwards as they do them. And if you're making direct contact with an enemy, then it won't count as a sneak attack. I also avoid using followers when I use this build, because if your followers are in combat, it also stops you from getting the sneak bonus. And without the sneak bonus, you're basically slapping your enemies with a wet fish. Now, you can find a steel dagger on the blacksmith's table at Riverwood. It's not the craziest boost in the world, but it's on your way to the Whiterun carriage anyway, so you might as well pick it up. Keep in mind though, with this build, every 1 damage is going to be getting that 60 times boost at the end. Take the Whiterun carriage down to Riften, head to the orphanage and butcher the old lady. Make sure all the children are watching to assert your dominance. Next, you want to head up to Windhelm, run over to Aventus Aretino's house, tell him you've killed Grelod and accept payment and leave. Just fast travel between some random area in Riverwood, like the Standing Stones or whatever, until the courier spawns in, runs over to you and gives you the note from the Dark Brotherhood. Head into the inn and buy a room from Delphine. Now, you have two choices. If you don't want to do the Dark Brotherhood questline, you can kill Astrid here, take her Dark Brotherhood gear and the Blade of Woe, which is one of the strongest daggers you can get without enchanting and blacksmithing. Or you can just do the Dark Brotherhood questline normally and you'll get the gear right after anyway. The gloves specifically are what we want, because they give us ×2 damage on all of our stealth attacks. And just like that, the build is basically done. Throw on the Dark Brotherhood gear. Now, between the 15 times damage perk in the stealth skill tree, for daggers specifically, the 2 times sneak attack bonus from the Dark Brotherhood gauntlets, and the Orc racial ability doubling your damage, you're now going to be hitting for 60 times damage on all of your attacks. It's an even bigger boost when you're using power attacks, you know? Even on legendary difficulty, there are not many enemies that can eat this much damage once you have a decent pair of daggers. Speaking of which, for a second really strong early game dagger, if you have followed my instructions, you're probably at level 18, which only leaves you like 2 levels away from getting the Daedric quest, Pieces of the Past, which is a Daedric quest to get Mehrunes' Razor. I would suggest leveling up Archery, by the way, as a secondary skill, since while getting sneak attacks on dragons is doable, it can be really annoying. So it's just a nice, like, secondary weapon type to fall back on. But now, just to show you how extremely strong this build is, for how simple and easy it is to do, I will show you a clip of me facing Harkon at level 20, on legendary difficulty, on one of my Twitch streams, with this exact build and no extra buffs. Mehrunes' Razor and everything. Settings, legendary difficulty, saving. Wow. Harkon dead, look at this. Now let's just go ahead here. Boom, 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 boom. Blade of Woe, Mehrunes' Razor. Boom, there. All done. There we go. Holy shit.